Hello, my friends. Welcome to Faith-Led Healing. I am your host, Tammy Trayer, and today is episode number 22. And you can find the show notes and links mentioned at faithledhealing.com/podcast-22. So today we're going to talk about the toxicity in our cleaning products and within our home. And this is an important topic because many of us, I was guilty of this too. We take on the cleaning products of our family. So Pine Sol, Murphy's Oil Soap, the Pledge spray, and we also took on Clorox. And in my opinion, all of those are just so toxic. They instantly give me a headache. They instantly just rock my world. And even as a kid, when I was, my chore was cleaning, and using that Pledge just killed me. I hated using that stuff. I hated using those chemicals because I didn't like the way they made me feel. And there's so many myths around Clorox, that Clorox kills mold, which is absolutely an untruth. It does not kill mold, not even a little. White vinegar and peroxide are the two things that eradicate mold. And so does the sunshine. So if you have things that are coated in mold, you can set them in the sun, and that will help to remove mold. But mold is toxic, and so is Clorox. So I want to hone you in on some of these products, and just, again, anything that's an aerosol has things in it that are affecting us, affecting our atmosphere. I don't use any aerosols. As a matter of fact, I don't use any on-the-shelf cleaning products in my home because it's really hard anymore to find companies that are making wholesome and clean products. I will have those companies that I do feel are ones you can purchase in my resource page. But right now, the hard thing is a lot of the cleaning products and the companies that we go to that are and have been clean have been sold out and have been bought by big name companies that are making toxic products. So I no longer really feel comfortable or safe utilizing them. Mrs. Myers and Seventh Generation are some of those companies that, are no longer, in my opinion, safe. So, and those were companies I used. So it's important that we really continue on this journey and are continuing to check the products that we are purchasing. That if you find something wholesome, make sure that you're checking it periodically to make sure that they haven't added anything back in, because that's what I'm finding. And there have been products, even like health, personal care products, hair care products, and makeup that I used from Aveda that I no longer trust because they were purchased out by Estee Lauder. So, this can be a little overwhelming when you're hearing these things. It was a little overwhelming for me because, you seek out these companies, you finally get excited because you found something that's wholesome. And now again, you're finding that it's not. So it is something that we need to be diligent about. It's not something we need to be overwhelmed about. We just need to be diligent in checking and making sure, or making our own products. Clorox is being used to kill germs. Well, you can use tea tree oil just the same. I make a lot of my household cleaning products on my own, and I will be doing videos on those on my YouTube channel so that you can make your own as well. So I'm not going to go deep into that today, but I want to encourage you to continue. Subscribe to my channel on YouTube, and you can find that easily by going to faithledhealing.com/YouTube. take you right to the channel. You can subscribe and click on the bell to set your notifications, and you'll be alerted when I put up a new video. But I will be putting up my laundry soap recipe, my cleaning recipe for my countertops, and also what I use on my floor. Instead of like Murphy's oil soap and the different things that are on the market, I prefer to just use my own with essential oils. It just smells more clean, more wholesome to me. It doesn't trigger me in any way, and super easy to do. So I'll have all that there, and I will be sharing how I make lotion bars and the different things I utilize in my home as well. So stay tuned for that. But it's important that we realize some of the biggest culprits in our home. I really want to encourage you to lean away from Clorox, utilizing Clorox at all. I know that a lot of people use it to bleach their clothing. There are other products that you can use, and I will reference those in my resources and in the show notes for today. Because there's a couple different products, but I want to just touch on the things that you need to be aware of. And the biggest thing is air fresheners. Air fresheners in our home and the aerosol sprays in our bathroom are terribly toxic. I can walk into a building, and when those are in there, I've got to do a complete turnaround and exit. I can just my eyes start burning, my sinuses start burning, my face starts flaring. They are very high in chemicals, and not using natural fragrances. So I want to encourage you to switch over to utilizing essential oils. Essential oils are something that will last a long time. You get a small bottle. You don't need to use a lot to really freshen your home. I enjoy blending different scents. The wintertime, I like to do clove and cinnamon, and different, cypress is another one I like to utilize. And I like to use my citrus oils as well. Lemon, orange, tangerine, and also peppermint. Peppermint combined with some of those is just amazing. So you have a lot of options, and you get a lot for your money because you buy a small bottle of essential oils and it will last you a good long while, and really easy and a lot better for your family, a lot cleaner and beneficial for you. So the cleaning products are the other thing. Anything aerosol, all of the cleaners, what are they called? The Clorox blocks. The cleaning blocks are like super toxic and will burn your skin. So switching to wholesome products and being aware. And how do you become aware? All of the toxic chemicals that you should be avoiding are in the handout that I've been referencing this whole series. So you can go to faithledhealing.com/toxin guide, or also find the link in each of these episodes. And again, this is podcast 22, so faithledhealing.com/podcast-22. So dryer sheets are one of your next most terrible things in the world. I do not use them. As a matter of fact, I can smell people coming 50 feet, 100 feet away from me that have utilized dryer sheets. Hugging somebody that has used dryer sheets on their clothing kills me. That's how sensitive I am. But I also know that's how toxic they are. And that is how, it is affecting you whether you feel it or not. And how do you get rid of dryer sheets if you want to, get the same results with your clothing? Use wool dryer balls, and all you need to do is add some essential oils to those dryer balls to scent them, to scent your clothing. So I use lavender. I love lavender. If my guys want me to use something different, I will use one of the citrus. A lemon is a good fragrance. So those are some of the things you really want to look out for. There are some cleaner products on the market, and I'm going to reference those in my resources. There are both dryer sheets and soap sheets as well Instead of buying detergent that's liquid, you can buy sheets that have been pressed, and you can just break them apart and put them in the soap dispenser in your washing machine. They're wonderful. I do utilize those. Sometimes when we're traveling, those are what we take with us. Not sometimes, all the time, because I don't want to use it. I will not use anything synthetic. I just won't. I can't. For starters, if I buy something from a thrift store that has been washed in regular detergents and used with the fabric softeners and the dryer sheets, I have to wash it multiple times, and I have to hang it outside to get that smell out of the clothing. It just hangs in the clothing. Those toxins hang in the clothing. So you want to definitely switch that up. That is something that is definitely affecting you, whether you know it or not. Now, here's something else. Lead paint, of course, was an issue for us when we were growing up in, my age bracket. I'm 54. But, if you're living in an old home, that's something to consider. The other thing is paint fumes, and fumes from anything, your urethanes, polyurethane, your varnishes, all of those things, those are really toxic. I do have a company that I work with that is amazing. There's actually several that do natural paints and varnishes as well. When we built this home, I made sure that we used as clean of products as we could. And those were some of the companies that I went to. So I will have those listed in my resources. So please check them out. If you are needing to paint or polyurethane anything, coat anything, lacquer anything, check out these companies, because those fumes are really, really intense, and they also stick around for a very long time. So when you're living in those, it's very difficult. I live in a tiny home. My home is 12 feet by 16 feet with a second floor. I've got very small footage in my home, and it is something that is definitely going to continue to affect you. So you want to be certain that you are using safe products. Synthetic insulations, you can get wool insulations, you can get a variety of different health-minded insulations, so keep that in mind. We used a lot of bubble foil in our home upon building it, and we used as non-synthetic of a insulation as we possibly could. Very, very important. Keep in mind that smoke from cigarettes and candles and cooking can also be a toxin to many people. So having good air purification in your home is extremely important, and removing those smells and those things from your home is important. There are some really good air purifiers, some that go very deep in removing and eradicating mold as well. I will have those in the resources for you this week. Again, mold spores, mildew, if you live in a very wet area and or you've had water damage of any kind, getting out black mold is extremely important. It is difficult, and it's important to do right away, because black mold is deadly. I can be the first one to tell you that. When I am around mold, I instantly flare. I do have a mutated gene, and I want to share this as well. If you have the MTHFR mutation, you want to be really careful, because what that means, we all have that, by the way, but some of us, it's mutated. And what that means for those of us that have that is that we are not detoxing properly. We are not getting rid of mold. We are not getting rid of heavy metals. We are not breaking down histamine. The body naturally makes histamine. Our bodies don't naturally break it down. I don't know if I said heavy metals. Any of those things that we need to detoxify, we're not breaking down well. So it's extremely important that you are aiding the body in being able to do that. If you have that gene and you're struggling to find help, please reach out to me. support@faithledhealing.com. I can greatly help you with that, and we will be moving on into that arena and talking about that as I expand further on detoxing and what I use to detoxify, and I will be sharing that next week. So you've also got to realize that our flooring gases, which means that when you put in synthetic carpeting, and you also put down the urethane flooring. It's important to check and try to get as wholesome of a product as possible, because they off-gas. And that off-gassing is just sticking around in your home. Again, if you're not eradicating those the gases and the things being put off with good air purification in your home, you're really going to not be well. There's a lot of people that are dealing with sick office and sick home syndrome, and it's a real thing. And you know, I feel it when I go just to a hotel room. So if your home is putting off a lot of toxicity, you can very easily, you know, go out and you'll feel great. You come home and you feel like crud. There's a reason for that. And it's important to start pinpointing and figuring out what it is that you're experiencing and what it's coming from. And this should be helping you. Dust mites. Many people are allergic to dust and dust mites, and not cleaning your bedding on a regular basis, or not covering your mattresses and washing the mattress pads at some point throughout the year, 6 months, every quarter. That can be really huge. Also, the bedding that you use makes a big difference. My recommendation is looking for bamboo sheets. Those are a really, really good anti-allergen fabric to utilize, both in pillowcases, in your bedding, and even in your mattress covers. The other thing is pet dander and allergies is really tough, and I recommend to people that do have allergies to not surround yourself with the things you're allergic to. It can really compound in your system, really cause you problems. So keep that in mind. Flame retardant particles, which comes off of our children's toys. We really need to be aware of where the flame retardants are being used. Toys, bedding, all the things that we're laying on, playing with all the time. They're being used more and more. They're very toxic, so be aware of that. Natural gas and carbon dioxide within the home is important to be aware of, and also the carbon monoxide. So there are lots of meters that you can get, carbon monoxide meters, and the varying meters that you can put in your home to test and regulate, and also so that you're aware that the levels are getting higher than they need to be. You know, throughout the world we have different things, radon and different things that can affect us. So be aware of that, and be aware of what's in your surroundings and the things that are more potent. You know, out here, it may not sound like anything major, but there's a lot of iron in our water, and iron, of course, we need iron. High iron can be harmful to our health. So, and also there are people that have a problem with iron. So if there's high iron in your water and you're not aware of that, and you've got iron issues and your iron continues to go up, I would definitely test your water. Things to consider, things to know of what is higher in your areas, what's in the waters in your areas, what's in the soils. You know, that is something you can find locally. Construction materials is really important. We talked about the insulation and paint. You know, you got your caulks and the different foams that they use around windows. You've got plywood that has formaldehyde on it. There are companies that offer clean building supplies, and they're becoming more and more available, but just be aware of what is in the building materials that are being used in your home, or if you're building your home yourself. We build our own homes. This is built with the lumber on our homestead. However, it's a stick frame, so there is still other materials being utilized, but we use the lumber on our walls and tried to use as much of the natural materials as we could. But do be aware that there are synthetics and chemicals in your building materials. So you want to be very careful with that. And I utilized an ozone machine to try to help eradicate as much of those fumes and those things in my home as possible upon completion of our home. Some things you just can't get around, but you can do things to help get rid of those things in your home. And just solvents. If you're in the garage, lots of solvents and fumes in your garage can be toxic. Stay away from the weed and bug killers. There are natural things that you can utilize. Using Roundup is so toxic, and once it's in your soil, it's in your soil. You can't get, it's not going to be removed unless you remove your soil and replace your soil. So, being cautious of what you're spraying in your garden, spraying on your grass in your home. If you're having your yard sprayed for bugs and weeds, you need to know what's being sprayed on your grass, because if your children or you are walking around barefooted and they say, only, don't do that for so many days and then it should be fine. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. And because it's our skin, it goes right into our pores and right into our bloodstream. So it's something to be aware of. And a lot of people are doing that. So you need to be aware. Not to mention the fact that once they spray it, you're also smelling those fumes. And whether you smell it or not, you're still breathing it. The other thing that I did talk about when we were talking about water is chlorine from the bath and shower and water and vapors. Those are things that you need to be aware of as well. Again, when chlorine and Clorox is heated, you're being harmed not only topically, but also as you're breathing. And again, when you're breathing, that goes right into the bloodstream. And these things are breaking the blood-brain barrier, and that is causing a lot of brain fog and learning disabilities. We see such high numbers of learning disabilities. It's the toxins in our world. So we need to get rid of the toxicity in our bodies. And as we get rid of the toxicities in our bodies and we've cleaned up our homes, we can remain clean and just need to continue to monitor where we're at. And like I said, I recommend my clients to do a quarterly detox and to clean up their homes. And here's something else. Not only your homes, but your cars, your vehicles. Your vehicles, brand new vehicles, have so many chemicals in them. And everybody's driving around with a zillion million air fresheners in their car. Again, I have a mini diffuser in my car, and that is what I use. I cannot purchase a car that someone has smoked in. I cannot purchase a car that has had heavy duty air fresheners in it. I'm very limited. And I'm very sensitive, but my sensitivities are because of things that are affecting the body. And those things that are affecting my body are also affecting your body. You may just not be as sensitive, but as you remove these things and you start to clean your body, you will be noticing how things affect you moving forward. And that's a good thing, that we have that built-in meter that we are able to tell that we are in a toxic environment and we need to get ourselves out of it. It's that simple. It's nothing to be worried about, but it's a good meter. I'm grateful. I don't go down the soap aisle in my grocery store because it affects me. I don't use any of that stuff anyway. So, being aware, knowing what you can do, and start changing your products out for healthier substitutes is what it's about. And again, I will have in the resource section different soaps that you can use, different laundry soaps that you can use, different air purifiers that you can use, and we'll continue to expand on that. I'll also have the paint companies that I utilize and really do enjoy utilizing. Their products hold up extremely well. My husband and I make lanterns that are tin punched, and he does the woodworking. I do the tin punching, and there's something that gets hung in your home or sat on in your home, and you can burn candles in it. And we utilize their safe urethanes. They're safe stains, I should say. They're not a urethane. I use their stains, and they hold up extremely well. Beautiful colors, and totally unaffected by them. So there's a lot to look at here. And it's cleaning products from every aspect of your home that you want to be considering and thinking about. You know, your floor cleaners, your toilet cleaners, your shower cleaners, all of those things. There are replacements, and I guarantee you, I'm just like you are. I want my home clean. I want to use a product that's going to make a difference. And you might need to experiment and find the right product that replaces the one that you are currently using, maybe that you're happy with. But there are really good ones out there. The ones I'm going to share are the ones that I've found to be the most effective. And then you can do your research from there. And that's the important thing is, you know, I'm sharing with you what works for me. I want you to now grab the bull by the horns and take over and find what works best for you and your family. But I want you to be aware, and I want you to be getting rid of these things. And it could be a slow process, or you could make it a fast process. And you could just, you know, donate the things you have to somebody else that's using them. I kind of struggle with that because I don't want to give somebody else something toxic. But what we do is we have a dump site here in Idaho. And what we'll do is just box up the things that we no longer are using and set them there. And if somebody wants to take them, they can take them. Otherwise, they just go in the trash. I want to be using wholesome things in my home. I want my friends to be using wholesome things in their home. So maybe you have a place that you can do the same thing rather than handing it down to somebody else and knowing that you're giving them toxins. That does bother me. You know, for me personally, I'm saying. So a lot to cover, a lot of different things to think about. The more we touch on this, and again, if you have questions, please reach out to me at podcast@faithledhealing.com, and I will be happy to answer those questions on the air. You know, it is a lot to take in and a lot to think about. Right now, the cleaning products and the prices of things are really not that outlandish compared to what we're already paying. And in a lot of cases, it's actually more cost effective. And it's even more cost effective when you're making your own. I enjoy making my own. I enjoy having those wholesome and natural smells in my home rather than something toxic and synthetic. So that's what I have to share with you today. Be sure to check out the Toxin Guide. That's where you're going to find all the information you need and the information you can refer back to verify that the products you're using are healthy or not healthy. Remember, you can also check out ewg.org and get the information off of there and compare your products or look for just other wholesome products that you'd like to find to replace what you're currently using. So searching for laundry soap or fabric softeners or anything like that, you'll find what they recommend on that site. So thank you for joining me again. I hope this was helpful to you. I look forward to sharing more with you. Next week, we're going to dive into what I utilize to detoxify and how I go about that. So I look forward to seeing you next week. You guys take care and God bless.